I don't have any coffee to pour this morning. So the ASMR, I don't even have any ice cubes in my glass. Do I need to give you like an extra gurgly sip? That's what the people come for. The water ASMR. We are live for the first Showdown Cram of the season. I'm going to be doing these every Monday and Thursday evening around 7:30, waiting for all the inactives to come in, the final projections, the final ownership, all that good stuff. It's going to be a quick hitter, 20 to 25-minute show. We're going to be using the Run the Sims tools to adjust for different game flow scenarios. We'll run the Sims. We'll see who is most frequently appearing in lineups, see how that compares to ownership, and then make smart decisions to build Showdown lineups. Not too much going on tonight as far as inactives. There was a little shakiness with Josh Jacobs' status, but he is going to play tonight. I'm still kind of inclined to not rely on him a ton, although that also presents an opportunity for us GPP bros, because I don't think the field is going to want him to play or want to play him much either. So let's get into it. I will try to answer any questions you guys have, but of all the things that we're doing with Run the Sims, the Showdown stuff is what I'm most excited about, because this is where we can really get granular. And I want to show you guys a few things tonight about how just changing the assumptions on how the game is going to go can quickly change which players are appearing the most in the lineups via the Sims. So we have the Ravens as 4-point road favorites here. So you can see when we look at Run the Sims, it's making the assumption on the implied team total, 27.5 points. We have the Raiders down here at 23.5 points. I have not been messing with these individual rushing market shares, receiving market shares. I am trusting Justin. I do not think I'm good enough to overrule these. I'm not even really overruling pace and rush rate. I'm going to rely on the work Justin has done. What I do have fun tweaking, though, is the points scored. Basically just saying, if the game flow, if the game situation is different than what Vegas is assuming, how can we take advantage of that? But I think right at the top, we should just run the Sims on the default assumptions based on Vegas and how these teams are most likely going to play out. And then we can start to make some crazy pivots off that. GPP is better. I am only once a year in my cash game, Pete. That's going to be week 18 this year. Absolutely cannot wait. The other 17 weeks we are GPP, Pete. What up, Taylor? It is Showdown season. Bring back cash game, Pete. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, they say Josh Jacobs is going to play. I think it could be a fairly reduced role. Iceman wants the free lineup. Goodness. Okay. So you can see right at the top here, Lamar Jackson is appearing in. So we have the flex spot here. 56% of the time he's appearing in the flex, 23% he's appearing in the captain lineup. So right out the gate, I was looking at ETR's ownership for Lamar's captain. They're bringing him in at about 28%. So already we're seeing the field as being a little bit aggressive on his captain usage based on how frequently he's appearing in these Sims. To me, Derek Carr actually represents already one of the best leverage captains. He's appearing here 15.6% of the time, even in a 4-point loss. And yet his ownership projection over on ETR is sitting at 8%. So right there, we're already able to get almost double the field's captain ownership with Derek Carr. A few of these other ones are a lot closer. Tyson Williams is about even with the field. Darren Waller about even there. Mark Andrews even. So it's the ownership for captain slot is fairly efficient relative to what these Sims are spinning out here. So that's the first thing. But again, this is working under the assumptions of how this game is going to go. And this is where I wanted to show you guys how fragile some of these assumptions are. So if I just change and I just flip-flop the Ravens scoring 23.5 points and I make the Vegas home team the 4-point favorites here. So literally just switching Vegas to a -4. Look at what this does to the Sims here as we are analyzing the playbook. All of a sudden, Derek Carr is showing up in the captain spot 20.4% of the time. This is a massive shift. And I think it really helps to illustrate how fragile these projections are. Projections are showing us the median outcome, the most likely outcome, and baked into those projections are how Vegas and these implied team totals are projected to go. But just flipping it and making Vegas a 4-point favorite who scores 4 more points, all of a sudden is really starting to jam these Raiders in. And we can go and look at the custom lineups here. All of a sudden, we go, and I forgot to look at the custom lineups with the Ravens, but now all of a sudden we're getting a 5-1 onslaught appearing 17 times. We're getting a 4-2 Vegas Raiders construction 5 times. 14th appearing lineup here, a 5-1 onslaught. We do get a balanced lineup showing here at 13. But I think this is just a good illustration of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. The field is going to pick players and overall constructions that are based on median outcomes. So let's push back out of this. And I do want to now go back and reverse it and just see what the overall constructions are for the standard build here with the Ravens as 4-point favorites. We'll go to our custom lineups. Yeah, we can do this one in a sec too. We'll do that one. If we go to custom lineups in this, you'll see we got 4-2 Ravens, 3-3, 3-3, 3-3, 4-2. So still fairly balanced, but way more 4-2s in favor of the Raiders. I think the other thing, though, that we're seeing is there's more values on the Raiders. You're getting Bryan Edwards and Hunter Renfrow showing up in a lot more lineups. Whereas when we are dealing with the Ravens, like the secondary options, the Devin Duvernays, the Tylan Wallaces, those guys are a lot thinner than Bryan Edwards and Hunter Renfrow. So I think that's why in general, we're seeing more Raiders appearing, but let's try this, Austin, here and see what this does to us. So if we go Ravens win by 10, should we make it a high scoring game here or should we dock? Let's go Raiders score 20 and let's say the Ravens score 30. So we'll do a 30-20 and we'll see how this looks. All right. So all of a sudden here, you tweak this. Lamar showing up in 82% of total lineups. Even this is how you get to Lamar's efficient ownership, because this is almost the exact same ownership that ETR has for Lamar. They have him at about 28% in the captain spot. So basically the field is making an assumption that the Ravens win by 10 when it's a 4-point spread. Like that's what we need it to be to get Lamar to his true ownership. And then even in this situation, Derek Carr's appearing in 12.5% of winning captain lineups, and he's still only being used by the field 8% of the time. So even in scenarios where the Ravens win by 10, we're still seeing a decent amount of Carr. It also makes sense, though, that we see a boost to Tyson Williams here. He is appearing in more captain lineups than what ownership is projected for in games where the Ravens win by 10. That makes intuitive sense. Darren Waller actually comes in a little under here. If we're shaving off some points, it also makes sense that Waller wouldn't quite be the optimal. And he's so expensive at 10-8 here, even more so than Travis Kelce was in Showdown contests here. That's right. Loving Run the Sims. It's a very fun way to both hand build and to run the optimizer for the lineups here. So these are the lineups for the Ravens winning by 10. You see the most frequent lineup is a Ravens onslaught, Renfrow bring back. You see a 4-2 with a Renfrow Carr bring back. So now we can start, now that we've seen a few different scenarios, we can start to kind of pick our leverage spots in the ways we really want to get unique. Let's see this. What quarter does Mariota come in? We would maybe have to make this a 30-point blowout to start to get some Mariota popping in the Sims. Historical Anomaly says it was a fun combo you had with Brick on lulls about tweaking game scores to the extremes. If you're not first, you're last. Yeah, this is why it's fun, because it's, when you're just running the optimizer on the median, you really aren't exploring the true ranges of outcomes. And that's where the chalk is settling around, is the most likely outcomes. Let's see here. Thank you, Breadwinner. Run the Sims Pete. We will be here every Thursday. I didn't mean to put that comment up. I didn't mean to, pat myself on the back that much, but thank you, new esports fans. So, I think the main kind of decision point is probably not to play Lamar Jackson in the captain spot. I just think we've seen enough for these different optimal results. Other than like a true Ravens blowout, I think it gets a little dicey. I think it gets a little dicey. And let's just, for the extremes, let's see if the Raiders win by 10 at home. Let's just see what happens in that scenario. Because the Ravens have been good at home. They were 3-2 against the spread last year, as when they were 4-point dogs. They've been good at home. Look at this. When you make the Ravens or the Raiders win by 10, Carr's showing up in 80% of lineups. He's in the captain slot 23% of the time. And we're seeing all the Raiders up here: Waller, Jacobs, Renfro, Ruggs, Edwards. We look at the custom lineups and it's all Raiders on slots there, which again makes sense. If they're scoring 30 points, it makes sense that those guys would be in. But I think now, just messing with this stuff, this is kind of the direction I'm leaning for this here, as far as how I kind of want to play it, how I want to get unique with some of my lineups. Yeah, so we could actually mess with this one, John. I haven't been messing with the individual target or rush shares, but I think we could. Should we bully the optimizer with a little Kenyon Drake? Because if we go down here and we see right now we have a 51% share for Josh Jacobs, 30% share for Kenyon Drake. Why don't we just flip this? Josh Jacobs, questionable all week. It did seem like at times he might not even play. I say we flip this. Let's see if we give him the 51 and we give him the 30. We give him the 26. We give him the, what was it? Crap. This is where I'm going to get myself in trouble. This is 56.7, 26 here. And then we go 30. Come on, Peter. 30 and 51. So let's give that a shot. And then we'll revert it back to the Vegas outcome. So 27.5 to 23.5, but we're going to flip Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake's rushing and TD expectation. Still not showing up a lot. Oh, no, sorry. He's now showing up a very good bit. So I think this is another good point that John brings up here. Just a small tweak like that on Kenyon Drake now gets him in 9.3% of captain lineups. So if we're looking at ownership projection, 3.4% is what the field's going to be playing Kenyon Drake at captain. They're going to be playing him in the field at about 20%, and he shows up in 38% of lineups here. So if your conviction play is that Kenyon Drake is going to be on, the 60-40 or 70-30 side of a touch split, then he starts to look like an incredibly good play. He doesn't show up in the optimal. The pure optimal is still that Ravens onslaught in this case, but you are seeing him pop up in a ton of these other ones. So that's a good point to know how fragile that situation is with Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. I mean, we even see him showing up as the captain here. This lineup appears 12 times. And I think the other kind of thing, like if you are going to play Lamar Jackson in the captain, I think you do really need to use one of the more obscure pass catchers. Like this most frequent lineup here, I think this is going to be a fairly duplicated lineup in large field. I think you have to push yourself outside your comfort zone and use the Devin Duvernay, the Tylan Wallace, the Proche, I think you need one of those to get unique, because this is just going to be too much cumulative ownership for a tournament. And so I think you either have to get really weird with Lamar and a pass catcher, or you play it through the Raiders and you play it this 4-2, even maybe a 5-1 onslaught. Like, this lineup here is pretty interesting. Some of these where you have Kenyon Drake, Waller, Renfro, Carr, and then like Lamar and Duvernay. Like, that's almost the sweet spot, because you're going off the board with the Lamar pass catcher, and then you're playing the Raiders through Kenyon Drake if you're making a big stand on Josh Jacobs. Let's see this. All right, we're having fun here. What if we flip Ruggs and Waller's target shares? All right, let's get crazy. This is the beauty of Run the Sims. We can bully the optimizer however you want. I am going to switch back on the Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. This would be fun. Okay, so we want to go from a 23% target share for Henry Ruggs. Okay, I guess that's not that massive of a shift. It's 18 to 23, not 230. And then we will go Hunter Renfro to 18%. Not Hunter Renfro. Goodness, I'm all over the place tonight. Where's Waller? We take him down to 18. Does not like my typing. Why am I so bad at this? There we go. Should we change the TD expectation? Are we doing that? That seems a little more ballsy. Let's bring it a little closer. I mean, I guess for this thought experiment, we'll just change it. We could go 31%. Sorry, guys. This is hard for me to remember these. 11.7 and 31.4. And what was this one? 31. God, where is this Nan coming from? There we go. All right. Now we will run the Sims with your messed up experiment. Nope, it's not letting me. I did a typo here. I'm at 108%. How did that happen? Oh, yeah, because it was down at 11%. That's why. All right, let's go lower. Was it at 10? This is great TV. All to just see a world where Darren Waller gets massively out-targeted by Henry Ruggs. All right, here you go. You got your wish. Henry Ruggs showing up as the captain 27% of the time. So if you are on team Henry Ruggs is the true alpha in Oakland or in Las Vegas, there you go. 27% of the time. I think we even broke the Sims because it's not even sorting it by the most populated captain. Although this is interesting. Derek Carr, no, we didn't break it because it's sorting by flex. Derek Carr still appears in 62%. Henry Ruggs in 47%. So I don't think I'm that crazy to go with that wild of a target share split, but Henry Ruggs could be your captain. Thank you, Dylan. Yes, please hit the like button. Any Josh Oliver with Boyle on IR. So people talking about Josh Boyle. Let's see it here. Where do we have his target share at? Or sorry, Josh Oliver. We have him at a 4% target share. What if we just give him Eric Tomlinson's? So what if we get him up to 6? We take Tomlinson down. We get him up to a nice 6.9. Let's see how much Nick Boyle we get, or Josh Oliver, if we do that. This is where we're sick. We're trying to bully the optimizer to give us more Josh Oliver. Let's see. Scrolling. Okay, so he's appearing in 7% of lineups based on ownership. You're actually not, let's see, where's the total own here? Ownership. So you're getting a couple percentage points there. But I get it. I mean, when you play Josh Oliver, you're just hoping to bank a touchdown. But even when giving him all the secondary pass work, I guess you could take a little more away from Mark Andrews if you wanted to do that. You guys, all right. I mean, at some point, we can't be giving Josh Oliver Mark Andrews target share. We do have to live within a base level of reality here. Yeah. Boyle is TD or bust. That's how I feel about it too. Let's see. Harb says, I have to let you know that Jerry barked when Adam said Brian Edwards, the only bark of the show. Oh, wow. This is important to know. Please adjust your lineups accordingly. Let's reset again here on all of this craziness. I do think the Ruggs, Edwards, Renfro decisions are very tough. You can see here when we're looking at their market share, their TD market share, they are all, pretty heavily condensed together there. I just want to see how much they are showing up in the optimal results. Let's see here. So again, they're all, bunched up right here together, showing up in 28%, 31%, and 28% of lineups. So at that point, like when we're getting those guys all jammed up so close to each other, it doesn't even look like there's a ton of leverage to be had. I mean, Renfro really does jump out as the best value play on the slate at 2,800 because he has similar, projections to Edwards and Ruggs, and he's basically half the price is those guys. So I don't know. He's fairly interesting, I think, as a toss in there. Watkins week 1 blow up. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. I do feel like the other kind of question for the Ravens is how pass heavy they're going to be. Because you have some, competing narratives. I think when they took Rashad Bateman this year, I think they were signaling that they did want to pass more. Obviously, Bateman's hurt. But then on the top of that, you have their running backs just completely decimated as well. So these are the inputs I don't like messing around with quite as much. Let's just say we take the Ravens down to like a more league average rush rate with the Raiders. Let's see what that does to things if we really adjust the rush rate. If you guys want to be fiddling with the sims and do your own bullying of the market shares in the inputs, you can sign up with promo code Pete, get you 10% off any package. It also gets you access to the Run the Sims channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. We've been talking strategy all day. If you can't pony up for the Run the Sims sub quite yet, and you're waiting to bink a few things and still want to get access to that channel, you can become a YouTube member down below and become a hand builder /opto bro. So if we do change their rush rate and we throttle it down a little bit, I'm not seeing a ton of changes here as far as the frequency that these guys are appearing in lineups. That didn't really change a lot. Let's see who's popping here. I mean, I guess that does make sense. We're going to get way more Lamar Jackson in captain. We're getting multiple pass catchers. This is another lineup that I mean, is going to be massively duplicated, I would imagine. All of these kind of Lamar Jackson onslaughts, although this one gets Duvernay in there. He's the one interesting piece that I think helps you get unique. That was another thing I wanted to check on was how we were projecting these flyers. So we have Duvernay at 11%, Prosh at 6%, Wallace at 4%. And then if we look at ownership here for these guys, it looks like we are going to have Duvernay as the most owned, Wallace as the second most, and then Prosh as the third. So, looking at that, I don't see anything that we can like really take advantage of there. But Duvernay at 10%, I think in smaller field stuff, he'll probably come in slightly less than that. I don't think that's a bad play. You're basically getting Duvernay at half the price and half the ownership of Sammy Watkins, which seems like a decent bet if that's the way you want to go. What sucks is you can't really go Renfro in the captain because everyone else is too cheap, end up with like a max of 45K. Yeah, although I don't think that's awful if you are jamming in like a ton of the studs. So like, let's see this lineup here. Renfro, and then you're getting in Lamar Jackson, Tyson Williams, Josh Jacobs, Marquise Brown, Derek Carr. So I do think if you're playing chalky players, you need to be leaving salary on the table. Obviously, Renfro will be unique as a captain, but I do think leaving salary on the table if you want to eat more chalk, it makes sense. Let's see here. Okay, now we have a Trenton Cannon call for 2 TDs. I don't mind that galaxy brain there. Let's do one with that, and then we might wrap up here. Maybe we'll build a lineup. I mean, Trenton Cannon, to me, I agree with these. I do think Latavius Murray is going to be the preferred guy there. I don't know. I can't bring myself to adjust Trenton Cannon's market share. I'm sorry, Casey. I like Hollywood Brown. When I'm just looking at pure captain leverage and ceiling. So I was looking at Leone's ceiling projections earlier, and when we look at ceiling, it's Lamar Jackson, and then it's actually, let me sort by both teams. It's Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, and Marquise Brown. And as far as the captain owned, Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown are going to both be sub 10% captain ownership. So that's the sweet spot for blend of upside with low ownership. So I think that is kind of the route that I want to build. Maybe we should then look for I want to see some of these custom lineups that have a Marquise Brown in them. So this one, Marquise Brown with Lamar Jackson, Josh Jacobs, Ruggs, Derek Carr, Renfro. I don't really want to play Josh Jacobs, so maybe pivoting that to Kenyon Drake would work. If we scroll down, do we have any other Marquise Brown? Man, getting a lot of Sammy Watkins. Okay, here's another Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown with Tyson Williams, Brian Edwards, Baltimore Ravens D, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews. I do think if you play Mark Andrews or Marquise Brown or Mark Andrews in the captain, it's really hard to get away from Lamar Jackson. It also is looking like it's hard to get away from Tyson Williams. If he's going to be used by the field in 40% of lineups, and how often is he appearing in optimal results in this scenario? All right. So you're pretty much matching the field. The Sims are coming in around there. The field's going to be slightly over on Tyson, but I do like Marquise Brown. Edwards is your captain. I think that works. He shows up here in the second most frequented lineup. This is like this is an interesting one because 3-3 lineup constructions are generally the most popular, but that's on more balanced game slates. I do think the field's going to prefer the 4-2 and the 5-1 with the Ravens. So if you are playing Edwards captain, you obviously play Carr with him. You toss in Renfro, and then you can get all 3 studs on the Ravens, and then you're just praying that Edwards, somehow leads things over Waller. I don't think that's a crazy narrative, and it looks like the math is checking out there. I worry a little bit about Edwards' ceiling, but he does allow you to do a lot there. Thank you. I apologize to James Prochet. I will never make that mistake again. Thank you, Gridiron Gains. More like pronunciation gains. That's what we're getting today. GM, what time is it where you are, Ginobili? It's GE, bro. What's the coach speak on Tyson? I'm in on him. I think he's going to be the lead dog. I mean, the fact that Bell and Freeman, aren't even active, I think that's pretty massive. Is Bell active? I know Freeman isn't active. I thought Bell wasn't active either. Yeah, I'm rocking with Tyson. This is true. Tucker not showing up in a lot of these lineups here. Not quite sure about that. I think he does like raw points. He projects better. But what generally happens in these showdown slates is the field plays the kickers at a way higher frequency than they appear in optimal lineups. I mean, I remember that from last year, like time and time again. The field really likes playing those kickers. I do think there's concern with that. Like that lineup that I showed with the optimal of jamming them. Um, I don't think I love that. I do think I would want to take a stand with one of Andrews or Hollywood and assume that the production's largely going to funnel through them. Obviously, if you play a Ravens onslaught, I think it's hard to get away from both of them, but I think that's something to be conscious of. I don't think so because I mean the Ravens are one of the most rush heavy teams in the league. So, I mean there's plenty of game scenarios where all of the production funnels through Lamar and Tyson. And you can see in these lineups, I mean Lamar and Tyson are showing up in a ton of them together. So I don't think that's bad. I think I'm with you, Corey. I think I am I'm only playing a couple lineups as well and I'm pretty sure I'm in on Renfro here. Couple more questions and then we will get out of here. Yeah, no Bell either. Harbs says he's going to get most of the workload. Yeah, I mean he's the most familiar with the system. He's the one that's been there all training camp. I do think, he's not going to get 25 carries. Latavius is going to come in a little bit, but I mean, Tyson's a very strong play. And we've been seeing, I think people have been slow to react to this. He's still just kind of an unknown to casuals who might be making lineups. So maybe there is a chance to get overweight on Tyson relative to the field. All right, guys. This was fun hanging out. I'm going to let you guys go because this game is starting here soon. I'm going to go build a couple of lineups. Good luck out there. We will be here on Thursday night as well to do another Showdown Cram. I don't even know who's playing on Thursday night. We'll figure it out when we get there. If you guys like what you see, head over, bully the optimizer over at Run the Sims, bully the inputs, check out these different game flows. I do think it is the best way for idea generation on these slates and to push us outside the median projections, push us outside the chalk and coming up with smart, logical builds in different game flow scenarios other than what Vegas is projecting. So I appreciate you guys. Hop in the Discord. We'll chop it up. Good luck tonight. Show me those screenshots of all those winning lineups. We'll talk to you guys later.